Thank you so much for making it.
Thank you.
I remember driving by one of your stores in the early 2000s. I think it must have been 2005. And when we drove by, I remember thinking, that's such a beautiful place.
I like beautiful spaces. Good afternoon, everyone. I always say that excellence is in my DNA. And as a woman, my DNA and my stamp must not only be felt, must be seen. And it's also a way of showing people what standards can look like.
Beautiful.
And you'll be shocked at the number of people who will stop to say they want to take pictures because the garden looks so nice. So for me, that makes it worth it because you train your eye to see what is beautiful in an environment where the standards have been so watered down that it's a fight to keep your standards. And as a business owner, you know it's all about standards, it's all about excellence. I'm not talking about perfection. I'm talking about standards, I'm talking about excellence. Living the values of excellence through everything that you do, not just in the product, in the packaging, in the way you treat people, in the way you treat your customers, in the environment in which you're operating your business. It's a way of life. So it's part of what I call my values and principles-based living. Yeah.
We'd like to understand a bit more of how did this journey begin for you?
I needed pajamas for my children. And I literally just made pajamas for my kids because I already had a background in manufacturing clothing for women. And I just told all my friends that I made these pajamas, and everybody said, make for me. I said, make for you. Okay. I made them. Somebody said, make me 7 pairs. My sister-in-law, 7. So who else is looking for pajamas in Lagos, please? So I drove up and down Allen Avenue, Okpebi, Awolowo Road, the places where you could shop in Lagos at the time. I mean, we're talking 30 years ago, almost, you know. And it turns out that there weren't really good quality pajamas. So I made these pajamas and put them in my car. And as I dropped my children off in school, I stood by the gate and said, hello, I've got these really nice pajamas. And some people will walk right past me. Some people say, oh, let me see. So, I mean, from that very early age, you understand that rejection is like throwing water on a duck's back.
Yeah,
It should
absolutely.
just roll off because you know where you're going and you know what you want to achieve at the end of the day. So some people would then say they want, right there and then I would sell them. So I decided to go up and down and look at what's really in this children's clothing market because my husband then said to me, don't just make pajamas, try your hand on shorts and shirts and this. So I took all my children's clothes and took them all apart to see how is the block of a child's pattern made, because I was used to making grown-ups patterns. The principles are the same, the scale is smaller, so that was it. And really, the next thing I knew was my neighbor was having a festival. She said, Teddy Bear Festival. She said, she's looking for somebody to make children's clothes in Ankara. I said, you're looking at the person. Am I going to recommend somebody else when I already started this? But she didn't know that, but I knew that. And sometimes, you know, opportunities are right in front of us, but we're so caught up in something else that we don't hear, we don't see, and we don't have the fillers out, you know, for it. So it's very important to pay attention and be present in some of these conversations, in a lot of conversations.
Absolutely.
And she said, okay, you can do it then. But what name are we going to write on the canopy? You know, the typical bazaar type of thing in the heat. So I said, I really don't know, because I hadn't thought about a name. Not rocket science. What kind of clothes do you want to make? What is this? What is this? I'm telling you this granular level just for you to see that the simplest things in life can give you such a huge impact. But if you dismiss it as it's not important or what does this know, you don't know where learning, prosperity, abundance, anything, you don't know where it will come from. And she simply said, she would draw a drum with children tumbling out of it. And I said, I want to make clothes that children can rough around in. There, just in that split second, outside her kitchen door, I said, the name is Ruff and Tumble. Write that on it. My children were the first models. I put them in the clothes. I tried the clothes on them. I took pictures of them. Born in Nigeria, made for Nigerians, made for the world, but has its roots deeply embedded in Nigeria.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
For me, it's shaped everything that I do. Always be open to conversations, always be open to continuous learning, believe in yourself, trust yourself, be clear on what it is that you want. Know your industry, know what happens on a global scale at your industry, know the kind of money that can be made in your industry at a global level. So you know that when you're bringing it to Nigeria, so long as it can transform into the culture and be accepted by the culture. Everybody said nobody was going to buy children's clothes that are locally made. And what, 20-something years, almost 30 years later, we've got 17 branches, 300 people working, a factory that manufactures clothing.
How did you structure this passion of yours to become a proper business? There's like a billion steps in between.
For me, setting up a business or setting up a business for growth will rest on a couple of pillars. So the first pillar would be your product. So what is your product? Who does it serve? Why should people buy your product and not somebody else's product? What is special? So what is your USP? What is your unique selling point? And what is the use of that product? How functional is it? So product is one. The second is people. If you really want to grow your business, you have to build a team. And that can be one of the most challenging things that a small business can do. So you prioritize it over every other thing that you want to do because you can't do this alone. You need to build that team. With that team, you need to build alignment. You need to be able to delegate to the team. And this is another thing, letting go for business owners, small business owners. I mean, for me to let go, I was almost blue in the face.
It's tough.
It is, because this is you're awake at night. You're thinking about this business. It's almost like a human being that is attached to you, that you're trying to groom, you're trying to grow. Despite everything everybody is saying to you, you're committed to it. Yes, you bring babies, you carry babies, you do everything to make this thing work.
Almost tempted to micromanage.
But you do micromanage when you start. Now, the important thing is that you go on what I call a personal journey of knowing what your own strengths and weaknesses are. Because you cannot multiply your one physical body in 1,000,001 places. But more importantly, you must put in structure, systems, processes, standard operating procedures, which tells people the how to do the things that need to be done in the business. You must be able to manage their performance. So you must have some kind of performance management system in place. If you don't know how to do it, you need to prioritize it and work with a consultant that knows how to do this. Number one, what it will do for you is it will free you. When it frees you, you become a more strategic thinker and you don't get stuck in operational things. So you're spending most of your time doing things that are seeing a clearer vision for the business and the potential the business has and where it has the potential to go. So you have everybody else working at a very operational level. Yes, you like to pack the cakes, but please don't pack the cakes. Let somebody else pack the cakes. You go and look for market. You go and look for business. You think up creative ways to sell those cakes, to market those cakes. That's more important. You need to deploy technology. You know, I don't know how to, you don't need to know. Just hire the people that know how to use it. You know, it's not a case of you knowing everything. As we said, you can't know everything. So you've got to understand that you need to bring in, as your business grows, and if you want it to grow, you need to bring in subject matter experts, people who are good at finance. Technology allows you to pay for simple HR systems that can help you. Every little bump on the road is going to be a distraction. You collaborate with people who can support you, people who have expertise in technology, accountants. You know, let the man come in once a week to do your books. pay him, you know, but make sure you get somebody who knows what they're doing. Otherwise, even you won't find your money. Yeah. So for us at Ruff and Tumble, we deploy ERP systems that give us a single point of truth about the business. We can see all the different aspects of the business. We have dashboards that show us daily sales. We can see the sales by the minute. In fact, which location, which part of the country. You have to use technology. You can't get away from it. You're going to take a risk. Everything is a risk. To invest in yourself is a risk. To invest in people is a risk. You will invest in people and they will leave you. Yes, they will leave you. So get used to it. And don't get so emotional about your baby, you know? So know about regulatory laws, know the rules and regulations around taxation, know about withholding tax, know who you should be charging.
Right. And I think as you've grown your business, at different points in time, you would have required access to financing. I mean, scaling requires a lot of money.
I'm trying to raise money for a children's clothing brand in the year 2000. It was like drawing stone from blood. The banking system had not just, no, not drawing stone from blood, but drawing blood from stone. At the time, it seemed like it was going to be an impossible task. And trying to get a loan from the bank that you're selling children's clothes. It's almost like the man wanted to ask me that, did you smoke banana to come here today? You know, and it's like, I know what I'm doing, you know. And I remember I met two banking officers who then said to me that they wanted my account. So I said, let's have a conversation. And they said, what did I want? To give me their account. You know, they were all canvassing for accounts at the time. I said, this is what I want. I want to acquire a piece of collateral. I've saved 50% of the money. I need you to give me 50% of the money so that the next bank that asks me for collateral, I can fling it in their face and they can give me what it is that I want. So they said, okay. Oh, all right. Where are your accounts? You see, structure. If I didn't have detailed accounts, nobody's going to give you a loan.
That's true.
Nobody. So I very happily brought it out. Okay, where are your assets? I said, is it not the asset I want to acquire? So where is the asset? Okay, you have all these machines in your factory. How much are they? Okay, take an inventory of the machines. Okay, you have all this fabric in your warehouse. Take an inventory of all the fabric. Anyway, by the time they finished, how much was I asking for? 20 million naira. But 20 million naira in 2000, in the year 2000, was a lot of money. Yeah, was a lot of money. 6 banks rejected me. 6 banks. But with every single rejection, as far as I'm concerned, it was a redirection. That's the first thing. The second thing was it was empowering me in the places where I had a gap. So in all the areas where I did not do the things correctly or I was not aligned with what the bank wanted to see, I learned it, refined it, and showed up in another bank. This time, I had a financial consultant who had gotten somebody from the bank that has stressed all the numbers. And then I focused on the branding, the strategic direction and growth of the business, and the plan for the business over the next 5 years. And it was the fastest yes I ever got in my life. In fact, I had to sort of do a double take, but I got a yes. So it's a combination of being attentive, being obsessed with your own vision and the things you want to do, the people you surround yourself with, believing in you and trusting yourself to be disciplined enough to use that money for what it was meant for. And that's where a lot of people lose and get lost. It's not a lifestyle loan. It's not. It's a business loan that you're supposed to inject into your business to grow it, to generate wealth. You need to know how to make it. You need to know how to keep it. Then you need to know how to grow it. So you have to hold it long enough to be able to grow it into wealth. It's not that you cannot do it. You can do it.
I think one of the most important ways to learn is learning from mistakes. And would love to learn from some of the mistakes that you've made.
My biggest mistakes were always with people. I hired the wrong people. Sometimes it's also because there is a lot of pressure on you. You're running the business is growing, you need people in the business to do things. You don't put systems in place to test for character, competence, and capacity. You need to test for those three things. Now, character is about your values. Your competencies are two. You are testing for technical competencies and you're testing for soft skills. Your technical competencies are those things that you know how to do. Yeah. But those technical competencies are useless unless you know how to communicate, unless you know how to get a team to align, to work with you, to be able to deliver an outcome. Learning to cooperate with all the different types of people that exist on your team. Because you are one individual from a background that is different from the diverse people that are in your team. So how are they thinking? What's important to them? Understanding those things. And as a business leader, those are things that you have to learn. Those are the kinds of things you have to prioritize. Get an HR company to help you with the hiring process so that when you are tired, you are not looking at somebody just as, let him just come and help me because me, I'm tired. You are actually seeing that the person is a right fit. Now, capacity, which is the third C, is ability to do. There are people who can talk and their CV, oh my God, if you hire based on CV, you're in trouble. You're in deep trouble. But to do, they cannot do. They cannot move this water from there to here. They can't do it, but they can talk. And sometimes you need those kind of people on your team. They've got ideas. So you have to identify if that's what they have, then put them with somebody who can then do it. Yeah. The second thing sometimes is that I didn't have the right systems. I didn't have clearly defined OKRs or KPIs or performance management systems. And those things are important.
Another question I would love to ask relates to change. When you think back to Ruff and Tumble, the brand, then versus now, what have you intentionally changed or what have you kept?
I had to first begin on myself and define who I wanted to be. Right in front of me, I see a lot of women. We are multifaceted human beings. We are sisters, we're mothers, we're wives, we're daughters, we're friends, we're mentors. We're so many things all wrapped in this beautiful one package of who we are. And sometimes society sends conflicting signals as to who society says we should be or who we ought to be. And what I want to say to you today as a woman is you define you. You define the boundaries. You define whatever it is, whoever it is, and however it is you want to show up anywhere through the different seasons of your life. Work on yourself and don't be afraid to have money conversations. Because when a woman talks about money, she likes money too much. When a man talks about money, oh, he's super ambitious. I'm super ambitious. I want to own the skyscraper. I want to own the yacht. I don't own one, no, before the tax people come after me, But I want to own. Like, I look in the mirror and say, you did well, girl. Your life made a difference. It made an impact. You created wealth. You generated wealth. You generated wealth for communities to grow, not just for yourself. You will always be afraid, but do it anyway. Your business will evolve. Don't become outdated, is basically what I'm trying to say to you. The whole world is going to evolve. The one thing that's constant is change. And if you don't have a growth mindset, you will be left behind and you will become obsolete. So, and that's why I'm saying you need to do a lot of work on yourself. You need to quiet the voice of, you're not good enough, you're not fine enough, your hair is this, to the voice of, you got this, girl, you can do this, girl. And reaffirming that to yourself all the time. Yeah. So the things that have remained constant in the business are the values and principles that gave birth to the business when it started. And those values for me was, I wanted to do something different. So we call them I Stare. So it's innovation. So we're constantly trying to do things differently. Then service. We are all called to live a life of service. You're not just here by accident. So how are you going to use your gifts and your talents in the service of humanity, in the service of the world, in the service of people? Teamwork. As we said, you can't go alone. You got to do it. It's a strong value for us. Yeah. Integrity. A couple of weeks ago, a customer returned a pair of trousers that split. This is the second time that was going to happen to us. I don't know how we missed the research and development unit, but we recalled 400 pairs of trousers and gave the customers back their money. That's the values and principles by which we live at Ruff and Tumble. Beautiful. Respect. Nigeria is such a diverse country. There's different cultures all working together in the same place. How do you, the way you show respect and the way we show respect, Yoruba people are very respect conscious. Some other tribes are not so respect conscious. A regard for who you are, where you come from, and understanding that we may be different, but at the end of the day, we're all human beings. Cut us any which way, we all have organs, the same. So we're all human beings. So this is important. And this spirit of excellence. The spirit of excellence must permeate everything that you do. You owe it to the generations that are coming behind you to uphold a standard that makes us all proud to be Nigerians. Yeah. Of course, now we have e-commerce as well. So now we're in your face, in your bedrooms, in your living rooms, on your phones, and we're with you 24 hours. Yeah.
What's your vision for small business in Africa? And based on that vision, what changes would you love to see?
My vision for Africa. Let's ask another question. What is the potential of the African continent? Yeah? We are so used to being programmed to believe that Africa is the dark continent. There's nothing dark about the African continent. The sun shines, it rains, it's a beautiful place. Birds sing, beautiful blue oceans, sandy beaches, beautiful people, smart, intelligent people. There's a lot of opportunity in Africa.
So much energy.
And energy, thank you. So when I look at the potential of Africa, I see potential in the youth. It's a youthful population. I see potential in the youth taking that energy, being curious, and adopting technology that helps us leapfrog all the mistakes that were made by everybody else. We can leapfrog, and it can help us in education, in the healthcare industry, in farming. So I want to see an Africa that believes in itself, an Africa that is not waiting for a savior. So why don't we take what we have, begin first by appreciating it, loving it, celebrating it. But it's time to look at the potential that Africa has. And you are a representation of the potential that is Africa. So you have to build Africa. So that's the Africa I want to see. Self-sufficient, good infrastructure, trading with each other. There's huge opportunities for investment in Africa, huge, So I believe in Africa. I believe in the potential of Africa. I believe in Nigeria, in the potential of Nigeria. Yes, I know there's a lot going on, but the great book of life in Job says that thing that I fear most happened to me. So what you fear will happen. But if you reframe it and restructure your thinking to see opportunities, I can bet you opportunities will start showing up for you. And that is a fact of life. So that's what I want to see. I want to see the young people. I want to see, we can already see that. Music, you are in a store in London and they're playing Burna Boy or Wizkid or my favorite, what's his name?
Ashake.
No, how did you know? How did you know? He's the guy. Ashake is the guy. Yeah, he's a dude. So I mean, they're all symbols of hope. They're all symbols of potential. So for me, they are symbols of an Africa that has so much potential. And I want you to focus on what is possible and not focus on what is not possible. Focus on solutions. So focus on service. Focus on what you can offer, how you can help. That's the Africa I want to see.
So let's end it this way. One of the things about this series is we have people from all over Africa watching.
Yeah.
Especially small business owners who either are alumni of the Hustle Academy program or want to join the Hustle Academy program, or just generally people who are small business owners who are looking up to inspiring business leaders like yourself. Leave them with a nugget. Just one thing that you think will inspire them.
So what I would say to you, wherever you are, whatever time it is that you see this, is that know that you are the potential that represents the potential of the African continent. Know that nobody's going to build this continent except you. So we all have to become obsessed with building the African continent. And I chose the word obsessed because it needs to become an obsession. We need to move from talking to doing. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard. So get ready for hard. Because the mistake is to think that as an entrepreneur, it's easy. It's easier than a 9-to-5 job. No, it's not. It's not easy. But what's important is that you can do it. You have the potential. You have the capacity. Remain focused. Be disciplined. Be committed. Be consistent. Because sometimes people try a little and then drop off. Remain consistent. I can't remember who it was asked. I think it was the guy who runs, the Jamaican guy who runs.
Usain Bolt.
Usain Bolt. He said he practiced 3 years for a 10-second run. Can you even begin to fathom the amount of work that he must have done in 3 years to run for 10 seconds and win a gold medal? It takes that long. And what we have to do is commit the time, the energy, resources, the ideas, and the belief in ourselves, the trust in ourselves, because nobody can give those things. They have to come from within us, and we have to want to do it.
Thank you so very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Mrs. Adenike Ogunlesi.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much. Thank you.